that possession, never did they dominate.
Jurgen Klopp reiterated that. He said, we didn't have control of this game.
No.
We should. Why don't they have control of the game? What's missing?
Absolutely everything is going wrong. You can start with form. Basically, almost everybody's out of form. The one thing you can't have a go at is the desire. But unfortunately, that desire is turning the ball over.
Like desperation.
Desperation. Everybody, they're trying so hard that there's no control. The pass is either too long or too short, or there's too much weight on it, or it's too high or too low. I mean, even the chances, they had plenty of opportunities. Núñez had a couple of opportunities. Melly's made a couple of great saves as well. Salah's got his goal. A horrendous pass from Salah as well when he's free on his own in the box. So every single little thing is going wrong. And regardless of what it is, right now, they're getting it wrong. I could go through every single thing that you do on a football field, whether it's, I've been talking about the ball, whether it's your pass or whatever it is. Your starting positions, your decision making. I mean, Liverpool just keep getting everything wrong, particularly at the wrong time. I mean, Van Dijk with that last goal, he doesn't move his feet at all. Somerville gets it, and he moves two different ways. The ball moves, and then he toe pokes it into the goal. During that whole little spell, which I understand, you're talking about a second, but it's a long time, Van Dijk doesn't move his feet or his body. He stands and watches.
2 years ago, he's clearing that, he's tackling, it's not an issue.
Well, not only Van Dijk, but a couple of years ago, that whole back four would have had Leeds camped in their own half.
Right.
2 years ago, Liverpool defended as a unit. Today, Liverpool don't defend, whether it's the top, the middle, or the back. And so now it's a cavalry charge. It felt like a cavalry charge today. Leeds, if you give Leeds any sort of encouragement, they'll try and get people forward. If there's one thing Leeds will do, Leeds players, they'll run all day for the team and for the club and everything else. What they lack is quality. But if you keep them in the game and keep encouraging them to break, then they'll keep doing it. And they did it the whole game. And so, wow. I mean, I had Klopp talking the other day about it'll be different after the World Cup.
Right.
I would love to know what's going to change.
Wow.
Because it doesn't seem like the personnel is going to change an awful lot. But I tell you what, there's a lot that has to change. Because, come on, Leeds, we were talking about, is Jesse Marsch going to get the sack?
Yeah.
Leeds look as though they're destined for relegation, and then they turn around and go to Anfield and win 2-1. I mean,
that's Nottingham Forest and Leeds now in 7 days. Nedum and Jan are waiting patiently. Nedum, how do you explain this?
I don't really know, to be honest. I feel bad for Stevie. He seems just so hurt by it, and it's understandable. Yeah, I think it's not the result you expected. When it goes 1-1, you think back, and the feeling that we have of Liverpool at Anfield is them either winning games or not losing. And for Leeds, they've lost 4 games in a row. The fans last week were singing Bielsa's name to Jesse Marsch. So you're thinking, well, this is going to end up in a defeat for them. But for them to be able to get that 2-1 result, and, the stat is, that's the first time Van Dijk's lost a game at home in the Premier League. He didn't just sign at the start of the season. He's been there for years. So these are really uncharted waters. And, to talk about that second goal as well, the problem for me there is that they've got bodies in and around the area, but they're so passive. From when the winger's got the ball on the left-hand side, it's 2v1 against him. Why are they not taking the ball from him? Then the cross comes into the box. No one lays a glove on Bamford. And then next thing, Somerville's taking a strike off. And in that point, not one Liverpool player has contacted those guys. And this is the last minute of the game. Like, the sense of urgency has to be there. And then also as well, it's the mistakes, as Stevie was saying, and the confidence and the form. And I think something that's sort of gone under the radar a little bit, and it's not to necessarily call him out, but from that first goal, obviously the mistake came from Gomez with the nature of that pass. Alisson had come across and he'd slipped. But Van Dijk had Rodrigo, but as the pass is made, Van Dijk's not looking at the ball. he's looking elsewhere in the field, trying to organise something else. And obviously Rodrigo was doing the opposite. I think the fact is they're making so many of these little mistakes, and they compound errors and they go behind. And for Leeds, they're not a fantastic side, but I thought today they showed what they were, and they sort of like had a sense of like an RB team. They'll put you under pressure, they'll run with lots of high intensity, they'll create some scruffy chances, but they'll battle. But the fact is, they arrived at Anfield after losing 4 games in a row. Their fans themselves, I'm sure they're looking out for a good day, but were they expecting to come away and beat Liverpool 2-1? No. Was I? No. I don't think many people were, but still they did it. And maybe some people could say they didn't deserve the win, but it definitely feels like they deserve something from the game, so credit to them.
It's a funny old game, Jan.
It's a funny old game, and it's a funny old man doing the analysis. If Stevie had 2 hands, I would have laughed my stock off because I loved it. Because I love his analysis, but I think it's time to just analyze what Liverpool really is at the moment. We can't keep on analyzing them for what they did last season and last seasons, because we thought everything would be okay when they beat Manchester City. It's not a long time ago. Wow. After that, they're losing against Forest. They're losing against Leeds United. And if Manchester United beat West Ham tomorrow, they are past Chelsea, but they are 7 points ahead of Liverpool Football Club. And the big winner in this round, we'll probably talk more about that, is Newcastle United, because there is another team now. There's new kids in the Premier League in the battle for the top 4. And at the moment, at Liverpool Football Club, it's time to talk about the big C word. It's a crisis, because there's something about it, and I agree with Stevie, watching this game, and you see there is the passion, there is the desire to do something, but there is something not happening. They don't sort it out. There is something wrong with them. We can have our analysis, but I'm not sure that Jurgen Klopp at this moment does know what's going wrong. But I would only say that it's also a big compliment to Leeds United and Jesse March. I'm not sure about the sweater he had today, but what a result he had at Anfield. Fantastic.
We asked Stevie to give us his player rankings. They're a little higher, actually, than I thought they were going to be, Stevie. Out of 10, of course. Like, Van Dijk's got a 5. That's not. Robertson's got an 8. Well, crikey.
I mean, I did get it thrown at me. 20.
So what?
Well, when I got it thrown at me, I was in between anger and trying to calm down, because we were doing the show in about 60 seconds time.
Right, OK.
So it's a little... I was a little emotional at the time.
OK.
So I might have got some wrong.
We're a few minutes into the show now. Are there regrets that you have?
No, I mean, I think Salah was all right. Thiago.
But here's the problem, yeah? Salah gets a 7, I assume, because of his goal.
Yeah.
But then there was that chance where he tries to do something, goodness knows what he's trying to do, lob it into the back of the net, where you surely need your star player to shine.
Do you know what? Take no notice of it. I wasn't in a mental... I wasn't mentally prepared to do it properly. Let me put it that way. So you know what? They were just garbage.
Give them all a 1.
Yeah.
That's it. You've given Darwin Núñez a 6. It's a question that's come up quite a bit. Are you worried about him at all?
No. Why do you keep asking me this?
Because he's not scoring goals.
Do you mean he's not scoring goals?
He's getting chances, but he's not scoring.
He's got 5 goals this season.
OK.
Is there something wrong with that?
Yes. When you pay 80 million for a striker, you want returns in these sort of games, surely.
Well, OK. If you want to just look at the numbers.
You brought up the numbers.
I'm talking about the price tag. I'm talking about the price tag.
Sorry, Steve, I was talking about...
If you just want to talk about a price tag, then it's hard to argue. But the fact is, he was bought, yes, to play now, but I think it's pretty clear that everybody knew he has a fair bit of growing to do.
Right.
And that's the reason I keep saying I'm not worried, because he's not scoring as many goals as we'd like. Yes, he had 2 good chances today that he didn't take. Melly's made an incredible save from him today as well, which obviously doesn't count. So I'm not worried about him. I'm not.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.